working, so that's not good. Okay, so come to seated. Whoops, cross legs. If you're comfortable, cross legs. If cross legs really isn't comfortable for you, then you can kneel if you prefer, or any seated position. If you have a cushion or something that you can sit up on, it can help making sitting in cross legs feel a little bit more comfortable, can't it? So you could always grab a cushion off the settee or something and then sit up on that or whatever. And then we'll start to just let go of the weight of the pelvis. So just start to let your pelvis feel heavy, begin to root down through your sit bones, and then lift your spine up. Start to let the shoulders relax down away from your ears. Begin to soften your facial muscles. And then turn your attention in. Just taking the first couple of moments just to arrive into your body and into your practice. So just starting to let go of your day, of all of your to-do lists, all of those things that are racing around in your mind. And then let your awareness settle onto your inhales and your exhales. And breathing in and out through the nose if you can. Just take a few moments to let your natural rhythm of breath become established. And it's quite hard, that, isn't it? Because usually as soon as we start to observe the breath, we want to start to change it. It's the same with anything, isn't it? As soon as we start to give our attention to something, we have that desire to change it. So just resist that for now and just allow the breath to be as it is as you settle down. See if you can release a little bit more tension from around the base of the neck. Can the shoulders soften down a little bit more? Can you allow the facial muscles to begin to rest? Release your jaw and relax your throat. Okay, we'll just take a few rounds of a bit of a deeper breath. So if you exhale everything out and then inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, pause at the top, and then exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Little pause again, and then inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Okay, go again. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Another couple. Do the count in your own time. But see if you can draw the air right down into your abdomen and expand it. And beneath the ribs, expand. And into your upper chest, expand. And then as you exhale, emptying out from the upper chest, beneath the ribs, and then down into your belly. And then go again. Inhale, belly, ribs, upper chest. Exhale, upper chest, ribs, and belly. Okay, just do about another 2 more in your own time. And then just returning to your normal breath. Just observing how your body feels now. Observe any sensation that you have. Maybe you could relax the shoulders a little bit more. Lower half of the body relax a bit more. And then from there, we'll bring the hands together in front of the heart. Taking an inhale, and then as you exhale, bring the chin to the chest. Let's take a moment there to smooth your forehead, remove any remaining expression that you have from your face. And then on the next exhale, we'll release the hands and then inhale to gently raise the head and blink the eyes open. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of a little bit of neck tension before we start with the shoulders. So take an inhale in the center, and then as you exhale, just let the right ear come down to the right shoulder. And then that might feel really intense for you. Keep drawing the left shoulder blade down and back. That might feel really intense just like that, so just stay there if it does. You could reach your left arm away, maybe to 45 degrees, and then actively draw the shoulder down a bit more. You might adjust the position of the left arm, maybe rotate with the palm. So sometimes just those tiny little movements make a difference to the stretch. And if you wanted more, again, you can bring the right hand in as always and just rest it over above the left ear. But just remember when you do that, don't use any force, don't pull. It's literally the weight of the hand that's helping the stretch. And we use the exhales to soften and relax. So the shoulder blade draws down the back. Okay, just taking another breath there, and then we'll release, come back to center. And then inhale, as you exhale, left ear, left shoulder. And then same thing, that might, if you're really tight around the base of your neck, that can be enough, can't it? So stay with that, or reach the right arm out. You might adjust the position a little bit, so roughly 45 degrees. You might rotate the palm forward or back. So again, find what works for you. You're drawing the right shoulder down, and you might bring the left hand up and just rest it as well onto the right ear. And if you are very tight in the shoulders and the base of the neck, this can be really intense. You might feel it all the way down into your upper arm, maybe down the shoulder blade as well. So just pay attention. Stay as relaxed as you can. And then we'll release and then bring the head back to center. Okay, we'll just start to draw some really small circles with the nose now. So just start with a really small circle. And then if everything feels okay with your neck and your upper body, you can start to increase the size of your circle. If in doubt with your neck, then you don't need to come all the way around. You can always do a semicircle. It is okay to go all the way around with your neck. But if you don't like it, or you've had an injury, or you're not sure, then you can always just stick to a semicircle and don't do the backward part. Whichever variation you're doing, just pay attention to the sensation that you have again. So we don't want any unpleasant sensation, just gently beginning to loosen up the base of the neck. You might come across little places that feel really tight here and stiff, and you can maybe linger there and just gently stretch it out a bit more. And then when you've gone one way with your circle, we'll go back the other way. So again, semicircles if you're not comfortable to do the full motion with the head, although it is okay to, so long as we don't have any major neck issues. Just try to keep as relaxed as you can, stay soft around the base of the neck. If you find little tight areas that you need to move into, then you can linger there. And then next time you bring your chin to the center of the chest, we'll inhale and bring the head back upright. Okay, from here, I'm hoping we're all still okay seated. If you need to change your seated position, please do. We're just going to take the arms out in front of us, interlace the fingers, turn the palms away, and then inhale, lift the arms up above the head. So I'm not worried about what the shoulders are doing at the moment. Just think about pressing the palms up towards the ceiling as much as you can. So you're really, really lifting. You could imagine here that somebody's taken hold of your rib cage and is lifting you up by the rib cage. So you're lifting up out of the pelvis. Palms are reaching up to the ceiling. Take an inhale and then exhale, release carefully, slowly. Bring the arms back down in front of you. We'll flip the palms back towards us and then release. And then you might just move the arms around, you might roll the shoulders, and then bring the hands back in front of you, interlace them, other little finger on top, and then turn the palms away. Inhale, bring the arms up. Now notice when you do this, if your rib cage really jumps forward, so try to keep drawing the abdomen in and the ribs in, and you're lifting the palms of the hands up towards the ceiling, and then someone's come along and grabbed you by your rib cage and is pulling you up that way. So you're really lifting, you're really finding length. Take an inhale and then exhale to release, just carefully down in front of you. Rotate the palms back towards you, release, and then move the arms in any way that you need to. So if you're getting really uncomfortable here, you could always come to kneeling for the next one. It's up to you. You can stay like this or you could come to kneeling. We're going to take the arms behind us and then interlace the fingers behind us. And then straighten into the arms any amount by drawing the shoulder heads back, squeezing the shoulder blades in, and then pressing the hands away. Now, if you are getting quite familiar with this, and some people find this really, really intense, don't they? I'm going to turn around so that you can see. If your shoulders are quite tight, you might find this really, really difficult. So you can focus, if that's the case, on straightening into the arms, drawing the shoulder heads back, squeezing the shoulder blades in. And then we work on straightening the arms. Once you're getting a little bit more comfortable with this, you can start to think about bringing the palms together as well. And then maybe you lift the arms. But straighten into them as much as you can. Try not to let the ribs really jump forward. So you're drawing the ribs in, you're drawing the whole of the abdomen in, and then you lift the arms any amount behind you. And just see if you can stay with a nice even breath there. Maybe you can lift them a little bit higher, but not if there's any unpleasant sensation, remember. So I don't mind stretchy, intense, muscly pain, but I don't want any horrible, bitey, weird pain. Okay, take another breath and then release. And you might just want to shake the hands out. You might want to swing the arms around, take any little movement there that feels nice. Okay, so as I said in my rambling message, we wanted something that can slide on the floor. And this is really just to help us to get some awareness into the shoulder blades, the back of the shoulders, the shoulder blades, and that movement that we use quite a lot of bringing the shoulder blades towards the spine. So just to kind of ramble a little bit more quickly, so many of us spend so much time sitting, don't we, at a desk, driving, on our phone, whatever, that we're very much curling forward a lot of the time. As we get older and over time, that becomes a habit, and then the muscles adjust and the fascia adjusts, and we can end up quite round-shouldered, can't we? And if you think about when we're like this, what's happening with the shoulder blades, they're moving away from the spine. So in our yoga practice, we want to work on bringing the shoulder blades towards the spine so that we get that lift in the chest. And I talk about the armpit chest as well, don't I? That place there at the armpit. So we're going to think about bringing the shoulder blades in towards the spine. So coming down onto our back, and this, some of you might have done this with me before, a long time ago, but most of you won't have done this before. And depending on your shoulder flexibility, this can be much more challenging than you think it is. So we're going to come down onto our back, and you can keep the knees bent as you come down. If yeah, we'll keep the knees bent actually, regardless, keep the knees bent. And then take your blanket or your towel or whatever it is, and I hope you can see mine there. I've adjusted my camera enough. I'm going to adjust it a little bit more so that you can really see what I'm doing. Okay, it needs to come forward a bit. Okay, so what we're doing, we've got the blanket or towel or magazine on the floor if you've got a carpet, and we're coming down onto our back, and then we're taking this right arm out to the side in a sort of cactus arm position onto whatever it is that's going to slide over the floor. So whether it's a carpet or whatever, I won't waffle too much about that, okay? And then for some people, even this arm position is really difficult, isn't it? So if you find that your wrist isn't down and you're not quite able to get the whole arm down, then you can always fold your blanket or whatever, or use something else to raise the level so that you can get contact with the back of your hand, your elbow, and your forearm. So starting in this cactus arm position, press the forearm, press the back of the hand, the knuckles, so as much as you can, quite strongly press the arm down into whatever it is on the floor. And then keeping that pressure, notice what that does to your shoulder blade. So that should start to bring your shoulder blade into the upper back. And then on the inhale, we're going to keep the pressure and straighten that arm as much as we can up above the head. Feel the movement of the shoulder blade, and then come back to that cactus arm position. And then do it again. Inhale, straighten. Keep the pressure. Feel the movement of the shoulder blade, and then exhale, bring it back, cactus arm. And then again, inhale, straighten as much as you can. Easier said than done. And then back to that cactus arm. And then again, inhale, straighten. It's good to polish the floor as well while we're at it. And then cactus arm. And then one more time, straighten. And then cactus arm. And then just rest for a moment and observe how the back of that shoulder feels now. So you might feel some quite intense sensation there if you're not used to that. Okay, so because I haven't got much room on my other side, I'm just going to turn around so that I can do the left. And then have whatever it is by you to do the same on the other side. And it's actually very common to come into this position with the arm and to not be able to get the wrist down. I see that a lot in yoga classes. So if that's the case and it's not coming down, your shoulders are quite tight, then just build it up. And we work on this. Because the more that we do it, obviously the more open we get in our shoulders. Okay, start in that cactus arm, press the forearm down, the back of the hand down, and then keeping the pressure, inhale to straighten the arm. As much as you can, feel what happens in the shoulder blade, and then come back to that cactus arm position. And then inhale, straighten. And then exhale the cactus arm. Feel what happens in the shoulder blade, inhale, straighten. Exhale back to cactus arm, and then again inhale, straighten, and then exhale, cactus arm. Okay, one more time. Try and keep the pressure as much as you can. I know it's easier said than done, and you might find it much harder on one side, and then come back to your cactus arm, and then just again rest for a moment and observe how that feels at the back of your shoulder. Okay, from here we're going to come all the way over onto our front and use a belt or anything that you can basically grab it. You don't actually need a belt, but a belt makes it feel a little bit, it just helps you to focus a little bit more. So we're going to come onto our front and take the belt, and it could be any kind of belt. It doesn't have to be a yoga belt. It could be a dressing gown belt or any sort of strap that you can hold. And we're going to come onto our front and just keep the chin tucked. You might even rest the forehead down onto the mat. But take hold of whatever it is, your strap, and we don't want to be too close together with the hands here. That's really hard. If you keep the hands really close together, this is going to be really tough. So especially if you're kind of working on your upper body mobility, we want to take the hands wide, and they could be really wide if they need to be. So, do whatever feels appropriate for you. And then in this position, lying on your front here like this, can you start to think about the shoulder blades beginning to move into the upper back? And then we're going to lift the arms and keep pressing the shoulder blades into the upper back. A little bit of pressure onto the belt, and if you don't have a belt, you can always improvise and just lift the arms and pretend that you're pulling on something, but it helps to be able to pull. Press the shoulder blades into the upper back. Take an inhale, and then as we exhale, can you come into cactus arms, bringing the belt up above your head. Feel what happens in the shoulder blades. And then inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, cactus arms. Okay, hold it with the cactus arms for a moment. Can you lift the elbows a little bit more? Can you press the shoulder blades into the upper back any amount more? Notice how that feels. So essentially we brought the shoulder blades really close to the spine, and we've opened out across the front of the chest here, even though we're lying on our front and we can't see it. Okay, take another breath and then release. Okay, we'll release the belt. Just maybe make a little pillow with your hands and just rest for a moment, and notice how your shoulder blades feel now. It might feel quite intense already, so just notice, observe, let it all settle down. Okay, from here we'll make our way to a downward facing dog. So take the hands below the shoulders, press up, and then tuck the toes, come into downward facing dog. And straight away in your downward facing dog, can you take that awareness to the shoulder blades. Can you begin to press the shoulder blades in the same way into the upper back? Remember to make sure that both hands do the same thing. So index fingers point forward, spread the other fingers wide. You're pressing the mat away with the hands to lift up out of the shoulders, but at the same time, can you get that action of the shoulder blades pressing into the upper back? Notice how different that feels. Maybe you can find a little bit more length all the way from the outer wrist to the outer hips, but you're still pressing the shoulder blades into the upper back. Make sure you're nice and soft around the base of the neck so you haven't started to tense anywhere that you don't need to. Okay, I'm going to step the right foot forward. So you can always drop the knees to do that, remember. If you find this really challenging to step forward, then drop the knees to do that. Otherwise, inhale, take the right leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, hug the thigh, bring the weight forward and step the foot forward. And then we're just going to drop the left knee and come into that lovely low lunge position that I'm so fond of. Okay, and then adjust if you need to. Pad out that knee if you need to. Do whatever you feel you need to make this more comfortable for you. Make sure that your right knee is over your right ankle, and then any amount let the hips descend down. And that can take a little bit of time, can't it? Especially if we've been sitting at a desk all day. So just give a little bit of time for the hips to begin to soften into your low lunge. And then when you're ready, we'll press into the right foot and come all the way up, bringing the arms up. And then as you exhale, let the hips sink forward and down any amount, but not so much that that right knee is going way beyond the ankle, remember. Okay, knit the ribs in here. So make sure you haven't started to flare the ribs forward. Knit the ribs in. Tailbone is heavy. Pelvis is moving forward and down. Inhale, reach up through the fingertips. And then as you exhale, do that cactus arms as wide as you can, elbows as far back as you can, press the shoulder blades into the upper back, and then sweep the arms around again, up. Cactus arms out to the side, press the shoulder blades in, wide and across the chest. Same again, sweep the arms up. Cactus arms out to the side, press the shoulder blades in, feel what that does at the upper back, and then inhale, bring the arms back up. Maybe you'll turn your gaze up now as well. Make sure that you're not tensing around the base of the neck, remember. Okay, inhale. As we exhale, come down onto the fingertips. We're going to tuck the toes on the left foot and then lift the left knee. Now, if the floor feels miles away here, you can always use blocks, remember. So adjust it if you need to, or anything that you can bring your hands up to make it the floor a little bit closer. So adjust it, adapt it, do whatever you need to. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward. Maybe you can lift the back of the left thigh a little bit more, but let the hips sink down a little bit more. Okay, we're going to lower the left knee back down. And then inhale to lift it again. But keep the hips moving down. Imagine that you're lifting from the back of the left thigh. And then exhale to lower. And then inhaling to lift. And then exhale to lower. Yes, sounds like Beirut outside. Inhale to lift. And then exhale to lower. Okay, well done. Just bring your right knee back, and then we'll find our way back, downward facing dog. Notice the difference between sides now in the lower half of the body. Still pressing those shoulder blades into the upper back though. Okay, we'll step the left foot forward, so drop the knees to do that if you need to. Otherwise, inhale, take the left leg up, and then exhale, step it forward. We'll drop the right knee and tuck the toes, pad the knee out if you need to, and just take a moment or two to settle into your low lunge. Remember, left knee is over your left ankle. Hips are moving forward and down. You can pad out that right knee as much as you need to, shoulders drawing down away from the ears. Okay, when you're ready, inhale, press into the left foot and come up. And then let the hips sink forward and down. Outer left hip drawing in, and the tailbone is heavy, and it's quite a strong stretch that, isn't it? Okay, inhale, reach up through the fingertips, and then exhale, cactus arms out to the side. Press the shoulder blades into the upper back, and then sweep the arms forward and up again. And then exhale, cactus arms out to the side. Inhale, sweep the arms forward and up again. Exhale, cactus arms out to the side. Really press the shoulder blades in. I've lost count already. Inhale, arms up. One more time, cactus arms. Really press the shoulder blades in. And then inhale, bring the arms up. Maybe you'll gaze up. And then as you exhale down onto the fingertips, we'll tuck the toes, right foot. And then inhale to lift the right knee. Hips are moving down, back of the right thigh lifts. Exhaling to lower. And then again, inhale to lift. Exhaling to lower. And again, inhale to lift. And exhale to lower. And I've lost count already. It's all the banging. Okay, inhale to lift. And then exhale to lower. Okay, bring the left knee back. And then we'll find our downward facing dog again. So tuck the toes, hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Keep that action of the shoulder blades pressing into the upper back. Make sure that your fingers are spread wide. You're pressing the mat away with the hands. You're lengthening, remember, sides of the waist, sides of the ribs. Any amount, press the shin bones back in your downward facing dog. Soften around the base of the neck. Okay, from downward facing dog, inhale. And then as we exhale, we're going to come back down to the knees. And then take the hands forward about a handprint, tuck the elbows, and then slowly lower all the way back down to our front. So I haven't finished with our shoulders just yet. So I know a lot of you are very familiar with the back bends, and we do a lot of work on our back bends, and some of you are not so much. So I'm going to just go through some of the stuff that we can all do with being reminded of anyway, can't we? No matter how long we've practiced or how much practice we've done. So remember, with our back bends, it's so important to get that action in the upper body of the shoulder blades pressing in. It's very much about the upper body more than the back body. And you can just rest down for now while I'm waffling if you want to. But it's very much about the upper body. We don't want to really be feeling it in our low back at all. Upper back, hip flexors, yes. Not really the low back. So that's why I focus so much on the shoulder blades and upper body. Okay, so if we come just to a cobra pose to begin with, hands are at shoulder level, keep the chin tucked and then lift the shoulder heads up. Try to get that feeling that we've had already with the shoulder blades pressing into the upper back strongly. It's like you're drawing them towards your spine. And then the chin can stay tucked so you're not straining the neck. You don't need to be up very high here. Try and just get that action with the shoulder blades. And then inhale, take the right leg up, reach your way through the toes, make the leg longer. Slightly turn the toes in so you're a bit pigeon-toed, and then release the leg back down. And then same on the left, so inhale to lift. Reach your way through the toes. Slightly turn the toes in, inner thigh rotates towards the ceiling, and then lower it back down, and then come back to the right and reach away, lengthen. Maybe you come a little bit pigeon-toed, inner thigh moves to the ceiling, and then let the foot come down, and then same on the left again, reach away, lengthen, turn the toes in slightly, and then let the foot come back down. Hopefully we've made a little bit more space in the low back, and then press the tops of the feet into the mat. So that area at the base of the toes, start to press it into the mat. Can you start to lengthen your bum here? So it's as if you're trying to get your sit bones to lengthen to the back of the heels. We're not just squeezing our glutes. So it's different from just squeezing and activating the glutes. So don't squeeze your bum. Think about lengthening your bum. Slightly thinking about maybe the tailbone tucking under and scooping it forward. And that's quite intense already, isn't it, before we've done anything else? So you get that lower half of the body activated. It's intense. Okay, so try to maintain that, making space at the low back action. And then shoulder heads lift up. Press those shoulder blades into the upper back. And then any amount, the head and chest comes up. Keep drawing the shoulder blades in. So we're feeling this more in the upper back than anywhere else, and that's how it should be. Energetically, the hands are drawing back as we start to think about the heart center moving forward, but that's an energetic thing, isn't it? We're not actually moving. Keep the elbows gluing in. There's that tendency for the elbows to wing out. Keep them gluing in. Everything's compact. Any amount more, send the heart center forward. Okay, take another breath and then release, come down. And just observe how everything feels after that. You can let the heels drop out. Just rest for a moment. Take a nice big inhale. And a nice big exhale. And again, nice big inhale. And a nice big exhale. Okay, so some of you might want to repeat what we've just done. And really focus on getting that action of the low half of the body. So you're making that space for your back bend. You could focus on the shoulder blades in. If you've done a lot of this stuff before and you're working on your more intense back bends and inversions and things, you might want to just release the arms and take them behind you. And you can either take hold of the wrists, you can take the forearms, you can take the elbows. You might even want to come into a reverse namaste there, so it's up to you. I'll let you decide. The reverse namaste is quite good because it really makes you press those shoulder blades into the upper back. If you've got sore wrists or whatever, or you're thinking it's a Thursday evening, what am I doing? You might just want to take your forearms or your elbows. Okay, but then same thing, pressure into the tops of the feet, make your bum longer. Think about the tailbone tucking under and scooping forward. Actually, you're pressing down so much there with the groin and the center of the of your bum pushing down, that you feel a little bit of engagement in your core even, your tummy starts to lift. You're pressing into the tops of the feet so much that the knees are beginning to lift up, and then you bring the head and shoulders up. Keep really pushing the shoulder blades into the upper back. We don't want to feel this really in our low back at all. Keep pressing the shoulder blades in, really widen. Maybe you can walk the fingers a little bit further and really widen. And then think about the heart center lengthening forward. So we're still getting that energetic action of the chest lengthening forward. Keep rolling the shoulder heads back. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades into the upper back. And that feeling is what we want in all of our back bends, basically. Not in the low back at all. Okay, take another breath. And then release, come down. And then just release your arms, shoulder heads roll forward. Totally relax, observe the sensation that you have. And then you might want to repeat your cobra. So if you're quite new to all of this, you can repeat the first thing that we did, the first steps. Pay attention, don't overdo it if your back is sensitive, remember. If you've taken the elbow or the forearms one way, then we'll do it the other way. So try and get the other forearm on top, and then you hooking the elbow the other way. And then you start again, pressure into the tops of the feet, lengthen your bum. It's like you're sending the center of your bum down into the mat as well, and you're lengthening. You're not just gripping the glutes. So much so pressing into the tops of the feet, the knees start to lift, and then the head and shoulders come up. Shoulder heads roll back, shoulder blades in. Can you really press them into the upper back? Heart center is moving forward. And the more that you get that action low half of the body and the shoulder blades pressing in, the less you feel that in the low back in a horrible way, hopefully. Okay, taking another breath and then releasing and come down. And then again, relax. Okay, so those of us that are very familiar with this, you might find this next bit quite easy. And if you're not, you might find this next bit really challenging. So you might want to use your strap here again. I'm just going to bend the knees and then reach back and take the feet. So if you can't reach the feet, or it feels really awkward, or you've got to twist, or it's not comfortable, use your strap. You can always take your strap around the tops of the feet and then hold on to it that way. So feel free to do that. Otherwise, we intend to take in the top of the feet and make sure that you've got in the same place on both feet. So you want to really be on the front of the ankles, or just sort of on that curve at the front of the ankle. Make sure it's the same on both sides. And then shoulder heads lift up. Shoulder blades, press them in, recreate that feeling, and then the upper body comes up. Think about that action as well, center of the buttocks moving down, so much so that you feel the tummy start to engage. You're making length in the low back, and then you might lift the legs as well, but you might not, so that's quite intense to lift the legs as well, isn't it? So you might completely skip all of that lower half of the body stuff and just focus on the upper body. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades in. Maybe the legs lift a bit higher, but it's like you're pressing the center of your bum down. Take another breath and then release. Well done, come down. Just rest, let the shoulder heads roll forward. I can feel that in my shoulder blades quite intensely. I'm sure all of you can as well. It's been a while since I've done this, isn't it? It's always good to revisit it, we forget. Okay, from here, we're going to come to a child's pose, but just come really carefully, gently, slowly. Hands below the shoulders, push up. And then take the knees as wide as you comfortably can. Bring the toes together, hands forward about a handprint. And then slowly, slowly reach the hips back to the heels. So you're finding length. Sides of the hips, sides of the waist, sides of the ribs. Maybe you walk the fingertips a little bit further forward and then rest the forehead down. Remember, if you're not comfortably coming down to the mat yet with the forehead, You can always use the fists and make a little stack, and then you can rest your head there. So just find your version of child's pose, relax the shoulders, and then take a nice long inhale, breathing in all the way from the crown of the head to the base of the spine. And then a nice long exhale, breathing out all the way from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. Wow, I always get carried away when it's back bends. Okay, on our next inhale, we're going to come back up to all fours. We'll tuck the toes and send the hips up and back, and come into our downward facing dog. And then same thing here, press the shoulder blades into the upper back. Be aware of what's happening at the upper back in your downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to step the right foot forward again. So if you need to drop the knees to help you, or use the hands to help you, you can. Inhale, take the right leg up, and then exhale to step it forward. Okay, once you've got your foot forward, we're going to lift the left knee. We're going to wobble our way up for crescent lunge. And I know that we can all do this. Well, I hope we can all do this. I think we can all do this. Okay, so remember, make sure that the feet aren't on a tight rope. If you need to take that right foot a bit further to the right, do that. It can make it a little bit easier so that you've got a bit more space. Make sure that the feet feel quite secure, and then we're going to press into the right foot and come all the way up for my very favourite pose in the world, crescent lunge. Okay, remember, if your back is sensitive, in crescent lunge, bend the back knee and then tilt the pelvis forward. And then you energise back through that left heel as much as you can. But don't worry about having the left leg straight if the back is quite sensitive, especially if you're working on this as well. And then reach up through the fingertips. Imagine that same thing again. It's like someone has grabbed your rib cage and is lifting you up by the rib cage. You're getting longer, sides of the waist. Okay, inhale, exhale, cactus arms, make the fists, elbows to the side, press the shoulder blades into the upper back, and then sweep the arms around and up. And then make the fists, cactus arms, out to the side. Well done. Press the shoulder blades in, and then arms up again. Inhale, exhale, cactus arms, press the shoulder blades in as wide as you can. And then inhale, arms come up, gaze up, wobble, wobble. Big inhale there, and then as we exhale, come back to downward facing dog. So take the hands down, step the right foot back, back to downward facing dog, press the shoulder blades into the upper back again. So really get that awareness at the shoulder blades. Okay, left leg's coming forward, so do that however you need to. Drop the knees, whatever. Inhale the left leg up, exhale, step it forward. In your runner's lunge, make sure you're not on a tightrope, so just give yourself space. Left knee is over your left ankle. The hips are moving down, and then wobble your way up. Crescent, other side. Soften the back knee, tilt the pelvis forward. It's one of my favourite poses, isn't it? As we know, it's challenging our balance, it's strengthening. Keep the ribs in, so that tendency to flare the ribs forward there as well. Keep them in, stay heavy in the tailbone, fingertips up to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale, cactus arms out to the side. Press the shoulder blades in, and then inhale, arms up. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, cactus arms. And I've lost count again. Inhale, arms up. Gaze up. Exhale, take the hands down, downward facing dog. Okay, notice how everything feels when you get back to your downward facing dog. See if you can find a static downward facing dog. Push the mat away with the hands. Press the shoulder blades into the upper back. Find more length. Okay, from here we'll find a warrior one. So we'll step the right foot forward again. You can drop the knee to do that if it helps. Otherwise, inhale, right leg up, and then exhale, step it forward. For warrior one, we're going to turn the left foot out and root it down, keeping the front knee bent as we inhale and press into the front foot and come up for warrior one, and then sink into the front knee. Shave that outer right hip back. Try to stay heavy in the outer left heel, shoulder blades down the back. Okay, and then in our warrior one, we're going to release the arms. See if you can come into a reverse namaste. So if you're comfortable with your reverse namaste, fingertips together and then turn and bring the palms up behind you like that. Otherwise, take the wrists, the forearms or the elbows and square yourself forward as much as you can. So remember, for warrior one, we're not on the ball of the foot, back foot. We've got the heel down. But if that feels uncomfortable for you in your knee or your back, then you can always convert to being on the ball of the foot. So you interchange between those two poses if it doesn't feel good in your body. Okay, so we've got the hands behind us. Can you roll the shoulder heads back? Can you press the shoulder blades into the upper back? Can you lift your chest? Inhale. As you exhale, just come forward and hover over the right leg. Any amount, doesn't need to be much. Stay strong in that back leg. Keep rolling the shoulder heads back, shoulder blades press in. And then inhale, come back upright. Reset. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, come forward and just hold it there. Keep pressing the shoulder blades into the upper back. It's like you're lengthening the chest forward. And then inhale, come back up. Reset again, we'll do that one more time. Inhale, lift the chest, and then exhale, come forward and just hold it there. Shoulder blades press in to the upper back, stay strong in the back leg, and then inhale, come back up, and then we'll release the arms again. Gaze up maybe. Inhale, and then exhale, hands down, making your way back to downward facing dog. And then just finding a nice static downward facing dog if you can. And notice how everything feels. Okay, so to step the left foot forward, do that however you need to. Drop the knees or inhale, take the left leg up and then exhale, step it forward. Setting up for warrior one this side, so the right foot turns out and you root it down. Front knee stays bent and then inhale, come up into your warrior one, sink into the front knee, squaring the hips forward as much as you can. Outer left hip shaves back, right hip forward. Shoulder blades down, press them into the upper back as well. Ribs are softening in, tailbone is heavy. Okay, we'll release the arms behind us. Again, you could do reverse namaste if you want to, or take the wrists, the forearms or the elbows. Square yourself forward, roll the shoulder heads back, press the shoulder blades into the upper back. So try and recreate that feeling that we've been creating. Ribs are drawing in. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, come forward and hover. Keep pressing the shoulder blades into the upper back. And then inhale, come back up. Reset, outer left hip draws back. Lift the chest, inhale. Exhale, come forward and hover. Press the shoulder blades into the upper back. And then inhale, come back up. And then one more time, come forward, press the shoulder blades into the upper back. Stay strong in the back leg. And then inhale, come back up. And then we'll release the arms up. Press the shoulder blades in. Maybe you gaze up there. Okay, inhale. As you exhale, take the hands down. This time we'll step the right foot back to the front of the mat, or to the front of the mat. And then nice generous bend in the knees, come into a forward bend. And we'll just take the elbows here, come into ragdoll pose. So totally relax the shoulders, relax the weight of the head and neck. You might just gently nod the head yes and shake it no. You might sway a little bit. Try to completely relax the shoulders. Okay, from there, we'll release the arms. You can either tuck the chin to roll up or lift the chin and press down through the feet. Remember, knees stay soft until you've come all the way up. And then we'll keep the arms coming out around and up, reaching up and gazing up, and then exhaling, hands down through heart center. Okay, I'm just going to do some triangle poses before we come back down to the mat, because this is a great place to work on those shoulder blades. So from the front of your mat, if you take a step back with the left foot, make it a nice wide step, and then keep the right foot facing forward and the left foot turning slightly in. If you were to draw a line from your right heel, it's going to hit right in the middle of the left instep. And then make sure that that back foot isn't at complete right angles to the front foot. So there's always a little turn in on the back toes, remember. Okay, hips and torso turn round to the left as much as you can. And then the arms come up to shoulder height, if you can still lift them. Relax the shoulders down away from the ears. Even here, press the shoulder blades in. Try and get that recreation of that feeling. And notice how it makes you lift the chest. It makes you wider and more open across the chest. Inhale. As you exhale, both legs stay straight. Reach with the right arm. Keep the right arm high so that you're lengthening the distance between your underarm and your hip. And then as soon as you need to stop, that hand can come anywhere down the shin. Take the left hand behind your head and then draw the elbow back. Press that shoulder blade right into the upper back and turn as much as you can with the chest. So you're really pressing that shoulder blade in. Once you feel that you can't press it in anymore, then you release the left arm up, and then maybe you turn your gaze up as well. Maybe you can find a bit more length on the right-hand side of the body. So make sure that you haven't done that thing that we do in triangle where we tend to have the chest facing down. And actually this focus on the shoulders stops you doing that as well, doesn't it? Okay, and then looking down to your right foot for balance, press in, come up, arms up, and then we'll rotate with the feet. So turning the right foot in, the left foot all the way around to the front. The hips and torso squaring to the right as much as you can. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Press the shoulder blades into the upper back even there. Inhale to find length. And then as you exhale, reach. Keeping the left arm high helps you to get length between the hip and the underarm. Stop whenever you need to. Left hand can come down the shin. Right hand behind the head. Draw the elbow back. Press the shoulder blade into the upper back. Turn the chest. And then as soon as that feels enough, then you reach that right arm up. And I say this a lot, don't I, about triangle. Some of you have heard me say this stuff so many times now. I'm annoying, I know. But it's actually an open face twist triangle pose. We're aiming to turn the chest up to the ceiling. And so often when we in a big class, we see this, the chest is pointing down and we're like this. So if that is happening to you, just don't come as far down. Maybe you come higher up and don't lean over as far until you can keep that chest open and the shoulder blade pressing into the upper back. Okay, well done. Look down to your left foot. Inhale, press in, come up, arms up, and then release the arms. And I'm just going to heel toe, defeated, and then shake the legs out from there. And I hope we're all okay still. You'll be cursing me with your shoulder blades. Okay, we're going to come back down to the mat. I'm going to do that through sun salutation. You don't need to do this if you don't want to, of course. You can always just go straight to a downward facing dog if you want to. Otherwise, come to the front of your mat and then inhale, take the arms up. As you exhale, hinge forward. Remember, knees bend if they need to. Take the hands down, relax the head and neck. Inhale for your halfway lift. Come onto your fingertips or the hands to shins, gaze forward. Exhale, bend the knees, stepping it back. From your plank pose, dropping the knees, tucking the elbows and lowering. You could do the chin first and chest variation if you want, or chaturanga or whatever. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, back. Downward facing dog. We'll take 3 breaths. 1, so press the shoulder blades into your upper back. Get that awareness too. Remember finding length as well. And 3. Okay, from here we're going to come to kneeling. So this might again be too much for some of us. You might work up to this. You might just do some of it. See how it feels. Remember, don't ever push things if you're not really comfortable with them. And it's nice even to just do the sort of prep work for these things, isn't it? She says. So if you've got blocks, you might want to have them behind you for a slightly easier version of this. If you've got pillows or cushions, you might want to use them as well. If you don't have any of those things and you've got no idea what I'm doing at all, then you might just want to stay kneeling and think about what we're doing when we're kneeling. So see how it feels. Okay, we're going to come to kneeling. And then as much as you can, untuck the toes. As much as you can, press the tops of the feet down. And the tops of the toes as well. So as much of the top of the foot. And actually, if your ankle mobility is restricted, even that is quite challenging, isn't it? Try to get as much of the foot down as you can. Front of the foot, front of the ankle, much of the front of the shin down as you can. But then bring the weight a little bit forward with the knees, so that you are not on the dip that's just below your patella. You are actually on the edge of the patella. So we don't want to be leaning back, basically, on that flat bit. We want to be right at the sort of tip of the knees there. Now, not if it's hurting, if you've got problems with your kneecap, then be careful. But we want to really try to be on the bony bit at the front of the knee, and not leaning back, which is what we tend to do here. So try to come a little bit forward. And then being as upright as you can, shoulders relaxed. Start to think about the same as we do lying on our front for back bends, the centre of your bum moving forward. So you start to push the pelvis forward, and that brings you more onto the front of the knees as well, doesn't it? So push the pelvis forward, Stay heavy in the tops, fronts of the feet, fronts of the shins. Keep pushing the pelvis forward. And then the arms come back. Start to press the shoulder blades into the upper back. You can reach down through the fingertips. Start to think about lifting the chest here. Maybe you can turn your gaze up. Okay, you might stay with this. You might stay pressing the shoulder blades into the upper back. You might find that actually you can lift the chest, press the shoulder blades in, press the center of your bum forward, and you might start to be able to lean back and find your blocks. Okay, so this is like a Ustrasana camel pose, half camel pose if you're using the blocks. Keep pressing the middle of your bum forward. So you're on the fronts of the knees. Keep pressing the shoulder blades in. Lift the chest. So instead of thinking of going back here, we're thinking about going up with the chest, pressing the shoulder blades in and the bum coming forward. And then you turn your gaze up. Use the blocks there. I can't find mine. Okay, and then inhale, come back up. It might be enough for you with the blocks. It might be enough for you just beginning to think about that. So feel free to stay with whatever. Otherwise, I'm going to get rid of my blocks. They weren't any good anyway. Same thing. Press the front of the shins down, front of the feet down. Be on the fronts of the knees. Imagine that somebody's gently pressing you forward from the middle of your bum so that the groin comes forward. And then lift the chest, press the shoulder blades in, lift, lift, up, up, and then maybe you lean back. And then eventually you lean back to the heels and you really press the shoulder blades in, you lift the chest. You're still moving forward from the center of your bum. And then maybe the head comes back as well. It's funny this, actually. I didn't used to be able to do this. I remember first trying this and thinking, oof. And actually it's not that bad, is it? Keep pushing the center of your pelvis forward. Keep lifting the chest. Keep pressing the shoulder blades in. Okay, and then inhale, come up. Well done. Hopefully you're still talking to me. From here, we're going to come down and come onto our back. I'm just going to do a couple of bridge poses now, but it's the same thing in our bridge pose. So come down onto your back. Walk the heels in. Remember, if you have back issues, that you take the feet wider for bridge. So the sort of the golden rule for bridge is feet hip width. But if you have a sensitive back, then take the feet wider than that. It doesn't need to be hip width. Outside edges of the feet are parallel, toes are pointing forward. That is important. It's important that we don't let the knees drift when we come up as well. So the knees stay pointing straight forward. And then on the inhale, we press into the feet and lift the hips. Okay, and you might stay with your standard bridge right there, thinking about, again, that center of your bum lifting up from there, pressing into the feet, engaging the hamstrings, engaging the glutes. If you're comfortable here, we're going to take the hands beneath us and interlace the fingers, and then walk the shoulder heads in, and that's that action. It's that same action of the shoulder blades pressing into the upper back, and then you really lift the chest. It's exactly the same. Lift. Smiling. Keep really pushing the shoulder blades in. If you get that action, it makes you press the triceps down, doesn't it, as well? And then you can really lift the chest. And then some of us might find you can even release the hands there and bring them to your low back, and you can come into that variation. And that variation, you can really press the shoulder blades in and lift the chest. So again, find your variation, whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, taking another breath. I want you to feel it much more in the upper body, the shoulders, the shoulder blades than you do anywhere else. Take another breath and then release. And come down slowly, slowly, one vertebra at a time. Once you've come down, just completely rest. Rest your abdomen, rest your pelvis. Observe any sensation that you have. Hopefully nothing unpleasant in the low half of the body. You might be feeling your shoulders and shoulder blades quite intensely. Okay, so you can stay with the standard bridge if you want to. You can repeat what we just did. You can interlace the fingers beneath you and do that variation. If you're working on your upward bow, then you could move on to that now. We should have warmed up everywhere that we need to. So hip flexors and shoulders, and so you can do that. Those of us that struggle with the wrist mobility and the wrist, it's the wrist mobility that stops a lot of people doing this, isn't it? You can always just do the hand position. So you could bring the fingertips so that they are pointing back to the shoulders and you have your elbows pointing up. And you can focus on the hand flat on the mat, which will come, but for a lot of people, we lose that wrist mobility. So you can work on just that and do that, and then you can come up and just come into your bridge pose like that if you wanted to work on that. Keep the elbows pointing up. Don't let the knees drift. The knees point forward. Okay, if you're coming further, if you want to come into your upward bow, from here you press into the hands. Maybe you come to the crown of the head first. Don't let the elbows drift. They want to. Keep the elbows in. And then from there, shoulder blades pressing into the upper back as you come all the way up. And then you bring the weight forward, really press the shoulder blades into the upper back. Make sure the knees haven't drifted, you haven't turned your toes out. Lift. Can you really, really get that feeling in the top of your back, shoulder blades press in. And then wherever you are, take another breath and then release. And if you've come all the way into upward bow, as you come down, don't let the elbows flare out, to keep them in, and you land at the back of the shoulder, not on the back of the neck, remember. And then just rest. Take your hands to your tummy or wherever, and then just rest and observe any sensation that you have, probably quite a lot in the upper back. Some of us have done 2 sessions today and we may well be feeling it. Okay, so when you're ready, just picking up the feet, we'll cup the hands over the knees and just let the weight of the legs rest into the hands. So that should feel really nice for your low back when you do that. You should feel that your low back is touching the mat. And then you might just bring one knee back and forward. You might just pedal the knees a bit. And then if it all feels okay, you can bring the knees in and give yourself a little squeeze. So what feels nice for you? Let me just check how carried away I'm getting, extremely, as always. Okay, if you can from here, just wrap your forearms around your shins and then bring the nose towards the knees and lift the head and shoulders up. So you're spreading and widening between the shoulder blades. If you can take the elbows there, do as well. And then take another breath and then release. Come down. Come to lying flat on your back. If you needed to move in any way you can, you might want to just draw the right knee in or the left knee in. You might want to do a little bit of your happy baby. You might want to just anything. Where do you feel that you need to move? And then come to lying flat when you're ready. And we will take the first few moments just to draw our awareness back in. Soften your abdomen. Relax your facial muscles. Release your jaw. And relax your throat. Let's see if you can put all of your awareness onto the rise and fall of your abdomen as you breathe. Just noticing each inhalation as it enters the body and each exhalation as it exits the body. Just allowing your breathing to be soft and full and easy with no effort. And then just let your mind relax a bit deeper. Below concentration on the breath and below concentration on anything. Just let everything relax completely, just for a few minutes. So now slowly beginning to bring your awareness back. Gently moving fingers and toes. Taking a nice long inhale, have a stretch. So arms up overhead, interlace fingers, maybe have a full body stretch. You could bend up your knees, draw them into your chest, give yourself a hug, take a twist. So any move, any stretch that feels nice. And then so when you're ready, making your way to your right hand side and just taking a moment there, finding your way back up to seated when you're ready. So as always, any seated position, so whatever. Cross legs isn't working yet, whatever. And then just bring the hands to the heart center. Take a moment, relax the shoulders. Soften your facial muscles. And just observe how everything feels, especially the shoulders. Okay, taking a nice long full inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Namaste. Thank you, folks. Happy bonny night, as they say round here. And I hope our various doggies are all right.
It's very loud by you, Caroline, isn't it?
Poor Tintin's in the right state. I better go and...
Oh, bless him. Sounds like a gunfight.
It might well be.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye. Have a lovely evening, folks.
And you. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Caroline, do you have the class tomorrow at 8 or not?
Right, I've got an appointment. I've only just found out, so I don't tomorrow.
That's fine.
But tomorrow night we're doing yin.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that. Okay.
So I'll see you tomorrow.
That's fine. Thanks.
Bye. And Mike, I hope you were good. Hope that was, and your partner haven't met. So I hope she found that okay. Hi. I'll speak to and Sarah too. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you tomorrow, folk. I'll see you tomorrow, Sarah. Yeah? Okay. Bye. Bye-bye.